Hey, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to go back into blood type testing. So, yesterday we did a demo on that. Today we are going to do a virtual lab. So, let's do a quick refresher of what we saw yesterday in class.
So here you see I am adding synthetic blood. This is not the real deal, guys, but it will chemically behave the same way. I add a little bit of this unknown blood sample to well A and a little bit to well B. And I don't put anything in RH because we didn't use RH yesterday. Here I have anti-A. Its job is to destroy the A antigen. These are anti-A antibodies. Antibodies destroy things. So anti-A antibodies should destroy the A antigens. Anti-B antibodies should destroy the B antigens. So add the anti-B antibodies. Now I'm going to stir it up. And if there is any A antigens, then we should start seeing a change in the A well. If there are any B antigens, we should see a change in the B well, which we have. Look at that. We had a really good color change there because all of the B antigens have been destroyed by the anti-B antibodies. So this would be B-type blood. And today we will talk about if it's B positive or B negative, and that's going to be based on the RH factor.
Let's take a look at the lab that you're going to do today. Now, this is a screenshot of the actual lab. Unfortunately, we will not be able to do a hands-on version of this because this was based off Flash animation, which has gone obsolete. I am sorry for that. So unfortunately, we're going to have to watch a video of me running through it for you until I'm able to find a suitable replacement. So how this works, just like the demo, but this time we are going to have 4 different kinds of blood, and blood number 1 will go into plate number 1. All 3 wells this time, A, B, and the RH. Just like before, we'll put anti-A into the A well, anti-B into the B well, and anti-RH this time into the RH well. And at certain points, I will open up this lab notebook, which will look like this. Unfortunately, it is a video. You will not be able to write in this. So I wrote Google Classroom, GC, Google Classroom. So you will need to open up from Google Classroom the notebook that I made for us. So if you want me to read through all of this, stick around. I will read through this after my instructions. If you want to read through it yourself, be my guest. So your first step is what is shown here. I recreated this, table 2, blood type and predicted clumping reactions. Table 2, blood type and predicted clumping reactions, all right here. So this is your prediction. What you think will happen if you put anti-A into A blood, will it clump up? Yes, it will clump up, or no, it will not clump up. If you think you put anti-B into A-type blood, you think yes, it will clump up, or you think no, it will not clump up. That is up to you to hypothesize, make your predictions here, what you think will happen. And if you are wrong, I will not count it against you. This is just what you are expecting. Then observations. As the video actually does the stuff, you are going to record when the video brings a pop-up for you to record. So again, does it clump up, yes or no? If they put the anti-A into blood sample 1, does the anti-A make it clump up? Meaning, in plate 1, did well A clump up? Yes or no? Yes or no? In blood sample 1, plate 1, does B clump up? Yes or no? And then RH, again, blood 1, plate 1, well, RH well. Does this clump up when we put the RH and the anti-RH in there? Does it clump up? Yes or no? And then you're going to look at all three of these and determine, is this A positive, A negative, B positive, B negative, AB positive, AB negative, O positive, or O negative. Remember, if it clumps, then it has the antigen. If anti-A makes a clump, it has A antigens. If anti-B makes a clump, it has B antigens. If it does not clump, it does not have the antigens. And that is how you're going to know the types are named after the antigens. You do the same thing with all 4 blood samples. When you are done, you analyze and conclude questions based on this lab and based on knowledge from the notes in this chapter. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to go do this on your own, good luck. If you want to have me read through this for you, I'm beginning now. You do not have to stick around for this part. Blood typing virtual lab. Although there are roughly 26 blood groups, the most common is the ABO blood group, made up of the 4 blood types: A, B, AB, and O. A person's blood type depends on the type of protein marker called an antigen found in the cell membranes of his or her red blood cells. For example, a person has type A blood if his or her blood cells have only the type A protein marker. These protein markers react with specific antibodies, which are proteins found in the immune system. These antibodies attach to the antigens and cause the red blood cells to clump together. In order to type blood, lab technicians use serums, which are liquid mixtures that contain antibodies. Each serum contains a different type of antibody: anti-A, anti-B, and anti-RH. We can observe the reactions between the antigens of the red blood cells and these antibodies. This makes anti-A, anti-B, and anti-RH proteins useful for determining the blood type of an unknown sample. Type A blood has antigens. Type A blood has A antigens. Anti-A antibody will attach to a type A antigen. Type B blood has B antigens. Anti-B antibody will attach to B antigens. Type O blood has no antigens, and therefore neither anti-A antibody or anti-B antibody will attach, meaning nothing will happen. Type AB blood has both antigens, and therefore both anti-B and anti-A antibodies will attach. Another blood protein known as Rh factor is also critical in making a successful transfusion. People are either Rh positive and have this protein, or Rh negative and do not have it. Anyone can receive Rh negative blood without harm. However, if you are Rh negative and receive a positive, your immune system will make proteins that cause Rh positive blood cells to swell and burst. Table 1 shows the types of protein markers found on the red blood cell membranes. So, if you are type A, you have an A antigen. If you are type B, you have a B antigen. If you are type AB, you have A antigens and you have B antigens. There's no such thing as an AB antigen. You have A antigens and you have B antigens. If you are type O, you don't have any of these antigens. If you are Rh positive, it means you do have the Rh antigen. If you are Rh negative, it means you do not have the Rh antigen. So if you are O positive, that means you do not have A or B, but you do have Rh. If you are O negative, it means you don't have any antigens. AB positive would have all of the antigens. Prediction. Complete table 2 below by entering whether or not each blood type will clump when mixed with each type of antibody. So you are going to predict, hypothesize, will anti-A antibody make type A blood clump up? Well, yes or no. Will anti-B antibodies make type A clump up? Yes or no. Same question for B blood, AB blood, and O blood. Same question for RH and the anti-RH antibody, and RH negative or the anti-RH antibody. Observations. Complete table 3. Enter yes if the blood sample clumped together when mixed with a serum, and enter no if the blood sample did not clump together. After you've entered all your observations, determine the type of each sample. For example, if the blood cells clumped together when they were mixed with anti-A, but not when they were mixed with anti-B and anti-RH, the blood type is A negative. I'll show you that down here. If the blood cells clumped when they were mixed with anti-A, but not with anti-B or RH, then the blood type is A negative. Because yes, anti-A clumping means you have A. No clumping with B means there is no B. No clumping with RH means there is no RH, so you're negative. That was an if. Those are not the actual answers. Analyze and conclude. 1. Conclude. Which, if any, of the blood samples tested can the patient with type B positive blood receive? Meaning, which of these blood samples can our patient receive as a transfusion? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Number 2, analyze. Explain how you are able to use your knowledge of how different types of blood react with anti-A, anti-B, and anti-RH antibodies to determine the blood types of the 4 samples. So, how did you know the blood types? Number 3, infer. If a person has type A blood, he or she would have antibodies for what blood type? So if they're type A, what are their antibodies, not antigens? What antibodies would they make? There's a difference. Number 4, infer. Why is type O negative blood known as the universal donor? Why is everybody able to receive type O blood transfusions? Number 5, apply. If a person has type O blood, what type or types of blood would she not be able to receive? If you are type O, what can you not receive? Evaluate. Is knowing the ABO blood type of a potential blood donor enough to determine a suitable match? Explain your answer. So, do we need to know any more information? If so, what information? Number 7, identify effect. What might happen if someone with type A received a transfusion of type B blood? So if you're type B and someone gave you type A, what would your immune system do? All right, ladies and gentlemen, good luck on this, and I will see you in class tomorrow.